Good morning. I am Dr. Neeta Mathur, SGSG Government College, Nasirabad, Department of English. Today we will talk about Francis Bacon, the essayist. Bacon's essays are prescribed for BA Part 1 students in Paper 2. Francis Bacon, born in the year 1561 and died in the year 1626, was one of the leading figures in natural philosophy and in the field of scientific methodology in the period of transition from the Renaissance to the early modern era. As a lawyer, member of parliament, and Queen's Counsel, Bacon wrote on questions of law, state, and religion, as well as on contemporary politics. But he also published texts in which he speculated in possible conceptions of society, and he pondered questions of ethics in his essays. Even in his works on natural philosophy, the advancement of learning. After his studies at Trinity College, Cambridge, and Gray's Inn, London, Bacon did not take up a post at a university, but instead tried to start a political career. Although his efforts were not successful during the era of Queen Elizabeth, under James I he rose to the highest political office, that of the Lord Chancellor, who is the highest officer of the Crown, acting as head of the judiciary and administrator of the royal household. Bacon's international fame and influence spread during his last years, when he was able to focus his energies exclusively on his philosophical work, and even more so after his death. To the present day, Bacon is well known for his treatise, which is a long formal book, article, or piece of writing dealing with a particular topic. On empirists, who is a person who believes in using methods based on what is experienced or seen rather than on a theory. On his philosophy, the advancement of learning, and for his doctrine of the idols, which he put forward in his early writings, as well as for the idea of a modern research institute, which he described in Nova Atlantis. The ethical dimension in Bacon's thought. The ethical dimension of Bacon's thought has been underrated by generations of scholars. Time and again, a crude utilitarianism has been derived. Upon closer analysis, however, his thoughts, we find that Bacon's philosophy of science tries to answer the question of how man can overcome the deficiencies of early life resulting from the fall. He enters the realm of ethical reflection. The improvement of mankind's lot by means of philosophy and science does not start from a narrow utilitarian point of view, involving sheer striving for profit and supporting the power or influence of select groups of men, but instead emphasizes the construction of a better world for mankind, which might come into existence through the ascertaining of truths about nature's workings. Thus, the perspective of the universal in Bacon's ethical thought is given predominance. Today, Bacon is still widely regarded as a major figure in scientific methodology and natural philosophy during the English Renaissance. Having advocated an organized system of obtaining knowledge with a humanitarian goal in mind, he is largely credited with ushering in the new early modern era of human understanding. Bacon's essays were collected in his Essays, Religious Meditations, Places of Persuasion and Dissuasion, 1597. His next work, Seen and Allowed, was the first published book by the philosopher, statesman and jurist Francis Bacon. The essays were written in a wide range of styles, from the plain and unadorned to the epigrammatic, which means relating to a short story or poem that expresses an idea in a clear, clever, funny way. They cover topics drawn from both public and private life, and in each case, the essays covered their topics systematically from a number of different angles, weighing one argument against another. While the original edition included 10 essays, a much enlarged second edition appeared in 1612 with 38 essays. Another, under the title Essays or Counsels Civil and Moral, was published in 1625 with 58 essays. Translations into French and Italian appeared during Bacon's lifetime. Critical reception. Though Bacon considered the essays, and I quote him, but as recreation of my other studies, unquote, he was given high praise by his contemporaries, even to the point of crediting him with having invented the essay form. Later research made clear the extent of Bacon's borrowings from the works of Montaigne, Aristotle, and other writers, but the essays have nevertheless remained in the highest repute. The 19th century literary historian Henry Hallam wrote that they are deeper and more discriminating than any earlier or almost any later work in English language. Sir Francis Bacon is widely accepted as a progenitor of the scientific method and the father of the modern essay. In both areas, he relied on systematic empirical thinking in order to first further understand nature and social interactions. He helped create the scientific method of strict observation and inductive reasoning. Bacon was a member of the British Parliament, a jurist, and a philosopher. In these capacities, he used the scientific method to organize his thinking. He organized knowledge into three groups: history, poetry, and philosophy, and studied them from the point of view that information is processed through memory, reason, and imagination. Bacon first published his essays in 1597 and published later editions in 1612 and 1625. His essays are written in a logical and scientific way and systematic way, approaching their subjects from a variety of viewpoints, comparing them and writing in a clear prose, often employing aphorisms to concisely make a point. He covered such topics as truth, love, death, marriage, education, religion, child rearing, health, and good and evil, to name a few. His essays were highly esteemed by his contemporaries when they were first published, and are continued to be held in high regard by modern scholars. Thank you.